Have you ever wondered what is hidden inside us? Our body already has an amazing mechanism that helps fight aging. It is not only able to treat diseases and prolong life, but that is far from all. Millions of people use this mechanism every day, not even suspecting that their cells are gradually being destroyed from the inside. Frequent overeating leads to inflammatory processes that are visible during special examinations. Imagine what your body is filled with: cells damaged by toxins and the risk of serious diseases. In the worst case, this can lead to serious problems. In 2016, Japanese scientist Yoshinori Ohsumi made a sensational discovery that shocked the entire world. He proved that human cells are capable of self-cleaning, renewing themselves, and thus preventing premature aging of the body. This process is called autophagy, and it helps protect against aging, dementia, diabetes, and even cancer. However, there is one serious problem. Most people do not know how to properly activate this mechanism. As a result, cells accumulate waste, and the body begins to deteriorate from the inside. Today, you will learn how to use the Ohsumi method to prolong and preserve youth, as well as maintain good health. It is very important to take care of yourself to stay strong and full of energy for a long time. Write in the comments if you want to activate autophagy and better understand why it is important for your health. Subscribe to the channel so as not to miss useful information and learn about scientific discoveries that can change your life. The autophagy mechanism begins to work only under certain conditions. If they are not met, the body is inevitably subject to aging. Try to imagine that your house has accumulated so much garbage that it is impossible to breathe, and the rooms are littered with unnecessary things. They may have been useful before, but now they only create disorder. In the same way, if the autophagy process is not activated, your cells become overloaded with waste and cannot function normally. Scientists have proven that under certain conditions, cells begin to eat damaged areas, replacing them with new ones. This is not just a theory. It was for this discovery that Yoshinori Ohsumi received the Nobel Prize in 2016. When autophagy is not turned on, toxic residues accumulate, immunity weakens, metabolism is disrupted, and the risk of age-related diseases increases. Researchers associate autophagy deficiency with the development of dementia, diabetes, tumors, and chronic inflammation. But there is good news. This process can be triggered by creating the right conditions. The main thing is to give the cells time to cleanse themselves, which occurs during fasting. However, there is one big mistake that most people make. They believe that they can fast as much as they want and still eat at any time. But it is not only about not eating, but when exactly you eat. Your body works on a certain renewal window. You may have heard that fasting is good for you, but many people make the fatal mistake of simply skipping meals and then eating indiscriminately. As a result, the autophagy process does not start or does not work efficiently enough. Yoshinori Ohsumi has proven that there is an important time window during which a person should eat. The shorter it is, the better for activating this mechanism. The longer the interval between meals, the more efficient the internal processes in the body. Research in the field of cellular cleansing shows the optimal way to eat food is to give the body a rest period of about 16 hours. With a long enough time window, the body has time to process dead cells and start forming new ones. If the process is disrupted by pollution, the metabolism slows down, inflammation increases, obesity develops, and premature aging occurs. Scientists from the Salk Institute in San Diego conducted an experiment, dividing participants into 3 groups by the length of the eating window. The first ate within 12 hours, the second at 8, and the third only at 6. The results were impressive. Reducing the time window not only contributed to weight loss, but also significantly improved cognitive functions, sleep quality, and energy levels. However, abrupt changes should not be allowed. The transition should be gradual. from 12 to 10, then to 8, and even to 16. The main thing is to avoid eating late at night, as this disrupts the biological clock and negatively affects the body. If you shorten the intake window too much, the body will not have time to fully function outside of its biorhythms. Remember that youth and body cleansing will occur more effectively only if you follow the correct regime. This approach is not just words, but the first step to health, which is worth starting right now. Awareness and the use of scientific discoveries help maintain youth and health for many years. Undoubtedly, an important addition to the method is not only when you eat, but also what exactly you put on your plate. Monitor the quality of products and the time of eating. All functions of our body are subject to circadian rhythms, and their disruption leads to hormonal imbalance and accelerated aging, including brain damage. The main hormones that affect our condition are cortisol and melatonin. The first is responsible for vigor in the morning. The second regulates sleep at night. Eating late at night interferes with the body's recovery, increasing inflammatory processes and metabolic disorders. People who eat on time have 30% less body fat, despite the same number of calories. Imagine how this affects the functioning of the entire body. At night, it should cleanse and restore itself and not digest food. Therefore, it is important to distribute your meals correctly. Breakfast should be the most nutritious, lunch should be the main meal, and dinner should be light or absent altogether. This regime accelerates autophagy processes, improves metabolism, stabilizes blood sugar levels, and promotes longevity. Disruption of circadian rhythms combined with poor nutrition leads to serious problems that prevent the body from fully realizing its potential. The Ohsumi method helps to ideally observe intermittent fasting, promoting body cleansing. The main thing to remember is that the key to success is not only in the number of hours, but also in observing the correct time for eating. Time plays a crucial role, but the reason for this lies deeper, and this is what you should consider if you want to maintain health and youth. What you eat is of great importance in activating processes such as autophagy. This process, responsible for clearing sugars from cells, is often blocked by our body's biggest enemies. When you eat refined carbohydrates such as white bread, sweets, and high-sugar drinks, your insulin levels rise sharply. And high insulin levels, in turn, inhibit autophagy, which prevents the body from renewing and restoring itself. It's important to remember that autophagy is also associated with the process of processing and removing unnecessary things. Products containing trans fats, preservatives, and artificial additives create a burden on the liver and impair its ability to cleanse. As a result, even during fasting, the body is not able to completely get rid of accumulated toxins. However, there are healthy products that support this process. Scientists note that fatty acids, antioxidants, and dietary fiber contained in avocados, olive oil, nuts, vegetables rich in bright colors, and berries nourish cells and stimulate their renewal. If the body removes old garbage, it will begin to recover, like a construction site after cleaning it of construction waste. However, new building materials must be of high quality, that is, nutritious and useful for cells. Even with proper nutrition, there is another important factor that helps to make the Ohsumi method a reality and ensures its high efficiency. Many people know about it, but often forget that it is this factor that distinguishes some people from others in terms of youth and health. Try to apply this in practice. You will be surprised why some look younger in old age, while others lose health before the onset of old age. Scientists have proven that it is not only a matter of heredity. Those who live long have activated genes responsible for cell regeneration. But the most important thing is that each of us is able to turn on these genes ourselves. Among such mechanisms, a protein called sartroin stands out, which controls the regeneration processes in the body. When sartroin is active, the body recovers faster, aging slows down, and the risk of inflammation and disease decreases. If this mechanism is turned off, the body wears out and ages faster. The most powerful stimulus for activating such genes is a little stress, which has a positive effect on the body. This is why intermittent fasting is so effective. In a state of food deficiency, the body begins to mobilize internal reserves, cleansing the body of damaged cells and toxins. Sartrein is also activated by physical exercise, contrast procedures, and antioxidants, for example, during brisk walking or immersion in cold water. Rejuvenation processes are already launched at this stage. However, there is another important point. Even practicing intermittent fasting and eating right, sometimes we make serious mistakes that nullify all efforts. Incorrect actions can literally ruin your life, despite all efforts and attention to health. Imagine that even following the right regime, constant stress can greatly slow down the cleansing process. Chronic tension, constant worries, poor sleep increase the level of the hormone cortisol, which prevents cell regeneration. Scientists have confirmed that stress accelerates the aging of the body. Therefore, to achieve maximum benefit from fasting and maintaining health, it is important not only to monitor nutrition and physical activity, but also to learn to manage your emotional state, reducing stress levels to a minimum. Only a comprehensive approach provides a real rejuvenating effect and a long life. Long-term inflammation prevents the body from fully cleansing itself, since the autophagy process does not have time to complete. As a result, the absorption of proper nutrition is disrupted, which negatively affects health. Intermittent fasting offers significant benefits, but the main difficulty remains stress, which especially increases cravings for food. The desire to eat sweets and fatty foods becomes almost inevitable for many people. That is why more and more people are starting to use the Ohsumi method, which helps break old habits and return the body to a healthy state. This approach is aimed at restoring balance, giving the body a chance to renew itself and get rid of accumulated damage.